Hi, everyone. It's Angela with Create Your Future. I am a certified law of assumption coach, and I am back today with a brand new video. I'm going to talk about something that I love, which is the science of what's happening as life unfolds, as we manifest quantum physics. This was like such a game changer for me when I wanted to become very intentional and see more things show up in my life as I was learning about all of this. So I intend that it helps you move by leaps and bounds. I do want to remind you that I would love to work with you if you want one-on-one coaching. So if you have something that you're working on, or want someone to help you find your blocks, or just build your faith and support you, I would love to be the one to do that. So you can sign up for coaching by looking in our description box and following those links down there. Also, I have a course out, Awaken to I Am, which is a very foundational course in helping you wake up to your I am state. That's the God state. You were created to create your life, and becoming aware of that helps you do so. And that's what my course is all about. So I invite you to check that out if you really want to get to the nuts and bolts and nitty gritty of operating from the perspective that you are the God of your reality, the only creator. Okay, so let's start talking about quantum mechanics, the science of quantum mechanics. Science is more and more and more finding out that things that happen in our reality, which used to be maybe, people would come from the perspective of religion, spiritual things, to have miracles and things come into your life. Science is moving more and more into supporting those things with like the evidence, showing behind the scenes what's happening. And I love this because if it's hard for you to just like wrap your head around, just because I believe something's going to happen, it's going to happen, knowing that there's scientific evidence supporting all of this is really, really, really helpful. And it was for me. So let's just talk a little bit about quantum physics, quantum mechanics. So from this perspective, everything is energy, everything is connected. And like, I think 100 years ago, they were looking into this realm of energy and photons, like particles and things. And they were doing an experiment. I can't remember what it's called, but you can look this stuff up. They were shooting like photons or particles of light. And what they noticed, they had like some specific predictions on how these particles were going to react as they shot them out, and I think they were going through like this little slit. I think if you look up the slit experiment, double slit experiment, that's where it talks a lot about this phenomena. But what happened was they noticed that the particles behaved not in a way that was just expected, like as a hypothesis. Everybody expected this and everybody saw the particles behave in a particular way. It depended on who was observing the particle and then what the particle did. So basically, it was what one person was assuming to happen with a particle, that's what it would do, what that person was assuming. Then if somebody else was watching the particle, it would behave in a different way based on the assumption of this person that was watching. So what it's saying is, the energy collapses into a particle and behaves in a particular way depending on the observer and what the observer expects to happen. That is kind of like the core basis of quantum mechanics and manifesting. Whatever someone is expecting to happen, what they're assuming, what they're feeling, what their energy is putting into a potentiality, that is what collapses and shows up in the 3D. I hope I made that clear. I hope I explained that right. And you can look that up and you can read more into, like, I think it's called the double slit experiment and the observer effect, and look into these things more and dive down into them. But that's what's happening when we are manifesting, whether we're aware of it or whether it's just happening subconsciously. Our assumption, our belief is looking out into that vast ocean of all potentialities. And based on what we're observing internally, we are taking a potentiality, a wave of energy, and we are putting our focus on that. And we are collapsing that wave of potential, that wave of energy, into it's going from wave to particle. It's going from energy to matter. It's going from potential to 3D reality. Our attention, our focus, our internal state is doing this all the time. It's creating every bit of our life experience from our internal expectation, our internal assumption. And your life experience is completely and totally 100% your perception. It's all from your internal state. It's what you expect, what you feel. Everybody, Neville says, the whole vast world is you pushed out. And this really gets into core beliefs. It gets into those beliefs where you're recognizing that everything's coming through you, that you're doing it and creating all of it, that you're the operant power, and that you can be intentional and you can make it what you want. You can make your life experience anything that you want. So this is amazing. And if you look at the science behind all of this and you begin to study into this, it takes your situation that maybe looks really impossible, looks really difficult, looks like there's no way it could happen because you have like this feeling within you and your emotions are kind of trapping you in this experience. When you look at the science, when you look at like facts of what, people can, see through scientific observation, it takes the subjective belief back a bit and helps you look at it objectively. You can begin to remind yourself, you know what? Every potentiality is existing right now. Every version of every person is existing right now. The version that I would like to see of my specific person is existing right now out there in that quantum realm, that infinite realm of possibility. And I can collapse that potentiality. I can cause that version of something I want to show up by focus, by intentionally focusing. And for me, when I began to look at it from that perspective, I didn't feel like such a victim to circumstances, into my emotional state, because my emotional state got caught into those circumstances. My emotional state got very tied into 3D outcomes, and I began to feel trapped in that. But when I stepped out of it and began to look objectively and say, wait a minute, it's all coming from within me, every bit of it. I can control this. I can look at it objectively. I can look at these waves of possibility out there, put my focus on it, and I'm observing I'm going to use the observer effect, just like, science discovered when scientists were observing photons, particles, their direct attention caused particles to behave in a certain way, caused energy to do certain things. I can do the same thing. I am doing the same thing. I am choosing, to be loved. I am choosing to have the income. I am choosing to have the peace and the harmony in my family. Whatever it is, I began to look at things objectively and remind myself that I could do this, that I had been doing it unconsciously all along, but now intentionally I could do it and choose better outcomes, things that I wanted, things that I preferred. I could change situations. I could turn them around. And all of us can do this. We have been created, each and every one of us, to create the life of our choosing. It's so true. This is why you're here, to wake up to the power, to wake up to the I am within you, to become aware that it's all flowing through you and you are in complete control of it. So, what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening in the quantum universe, when you begin to think about something, good or bad, is your brain is going to focus in on that and it's going to collapse that energy into a particle form. It's going to harden into fact or crystallize. This is what Neville says. Our attention, our focus, our assumption is crystallizing something into fact. Basically, it's going from wave and energy into matter so that we can see it, so that we're aware of it in the 3D moment. But it's happening first. It's happening within. We do all of that work within. And then we just flow that energy and flow those experiences into our 3D realm. It is a fascinating, life-changing piece of knowledge to understand this science. So I really encourage you to look into that a little more, read up on that, and study into that some more. And remind yourself, make that one of your affirmations. I am the God of this experience. Every single thing, whether it's money, whether it's physical health, whether it is, relationships with friends and family, or my romantic relationship with my specific person, I am creating it. And I can look out into that ocean of possibilities, and we do all of it internally through our imagination, and I can put my focus on the thing that I want. I can put my focus on the desired outcome that I choose. And I am literally moving energy from, a wave state into a particle state. You are directing the energy. You are causing it to change. It does what it's going to do based on your assumption. This is so powerful. This is what you're created to do. And you've always been doing it. All of your experiences have been showing up just through this process that I just now talked about. So say that you have been unlucky. We'll use the word unlucky in romantic relationships, or you haven't had things show up the way that you want. You've been rejected. You've had third parties. That, in some level of your subconscious, has been like an expectation, something that you've just seen and expected to be in your life. So in your subconscious, you've just felt like it's hard to have relationships. It's hard to have success. Shift your thinking by reminding yourself, every possibility that I could ever want is out there. If I can think of it, if I can think of being loved, if I can think of being chosen, if I can think of, romance and my specific person pursuing me, all of that exists. And the more I put my attention on that, that wave of energy is going to collapse and it's going to show up in my reality and I'm going to experience it in my 3D. So kind of check in with what's been showing up in your reality. Decide how you want it to be different, and then begin to create those new thoughts, reminding yourself the whole time this wave of potentiality is there, it's existing, I'm focusing on it. My energy is collapsing that wave. It is becoming particle. It is happening now. I am walking into a new dimension where I am experiencing all of these things. I am now aware of different things, good things, positive things, being adored, being pursued, having my person come after me. So, think about it a little bit from that scientific perspective. Be objective. Remind yourself what's happening. Remind yourself that you're creating it. Remind yourself that you're watching this experience shift from energy to particle. All the power is in you, and it's happening now. Do that with your romantic relationship. Do that with money, income, your job, your boss. Do that with your physical body, your appearance, your weight, your health, whatever it is. Think about what you're wanting as that potentiality that exists, and your energy, your focus, bringing it into your life, collapsing the wave, causing it to shift from, energy to particle form so that you can experience it, enjoy it, live it out in your 3D reality. I hope that is really, really encouraging to you, because you're observing everything, and your observation is creating it in your reality. It's creating the 3D experience just by observing. I really hope you've been so motivated by that, because it changed so much for me. It helped me become so empowered, and it helped me to see all sorts of things just shift as I began to recognize, that this is science. It's based in science. We are discovering it every day, even more and more. And I really felt grounded. It was easier for me to believe. And I want you to have that same belief and that same faith, ultimately, so you get all of your desires. You get to live the life you want. You get to have your dreams come true. You get to have everything come into your experience. So I intend this was extremely helpful. I hope that you guys are very motivated by knowing that. And like I said, look into some quantum mechanics, look into the observer effect, look into the double slit experiment, and see what you can find, and see, if it increases your faith even more. And if you have anything on this subject, that has helped you in manifesting, leave a comment below. Leave something, to share that's going to help somebody else grow in their understanding and faith, because, your comments and your positive things that have come out of new understanding is going to help somebody increase their faith and help somebody else get their desire. Alrighty, guys, that is it for today. Remember, I would love to help you with your manifestation, to help you get your desire, answer your questions, just be there as that support and coach. So sign up for coaching if you want to work with me one-on-one. I will see you in the next video. Bye.